Okay, took a look at everything and decided to stay in. It's here we are challenging again 64, and I'm gonna wait through one more little push here and see if this time if we can push through and push those stops out. In which case we'll see some pretty potentially substantial upside movement based on forcing out those stops. And wanted to play it out one more time. I mean, there are some positive signs that are causing me to think we could still see this push. So wanted to give it one more chance, and just thought I'd let you know that. And we're ticking up there now. It could take a while. Could take a while to do it, but I think I still think we're looking like we're going to see higher here. So I'll try to stay tuned for you for just a second and see if we can get there. That's our price ladder. Here's our 15 again, and what we've got going on there. A lot of trades going off. They just hit 64.25 again. So here's that push. Let's see. Here's the 60-minute chart. Let's see if they can push through. If they do not push through this time around, I'm going to look to take profits. So let's see if they can push it through, and if we get a little streaker going here. I'm going to show you the price ladder because you'll see it'll be moving pretty quick in this range. You'll see a lot of trades going off. You can see those numbers to the right and left of the current price. You can see how fast those numbers are flipping. A lot of volume right in here. And if you see it hit 64.50, 64.75, something like that, you're going to see a lot of trades going off and a pretty good little panic of people who were short up in this area that are now having to bail out. You can see the speed that we're seeing there. So let me try to stay tuned here a little bit. Again, I'm going to give it this one more chance to push through, and if it retreats, okay, there's 64.50. May have to do some fumbling here real quick to move my profit target, so bear with me if the viewing gets a little choppy. But here's that 64.50. Let's see if we can push out some more stops here. Kind of sounds cruel, doesn't it? Talking about pushing people out, but it's just the fundamentals of the market, and that's how things go. You got to know where the orders are positioned, where people are, what's going to make them, potentially panic and freak out, liquidate their positions. And this is certainly an area where that could occur. All right, so we saw our 64.50. I don't know that we're done yet. Again, tempting to go ahead and grab our profits, but I still think we're gonna push a little bit. Here's 64.50 again. Sorry about my voice this morning. Apologies. So 64.50. Come on, let's see a new high. Let's see a 64.75, and see how much pace we can get going here. See if we can gather some velocity. I mean, I would not want to be a seller in here looking at this 15-minute chart. That is a scary place to sell. I don't care if you're looking at that prior high. There we go. There's 64.75. And again, I've not done any kind of extension in terms of figuring out how high may be on this little run. I'm positioned at 67 right now just because I wanted to give it room. I really will tell you that I'd have to do some looking, which is hard when I'm filming, to try to see what that potential upside is. So I don't have an accurate one for you yet, but I think it could, certainly think it could see that 67 area. If not on this immediate bar, certainly in the not too distant future. But again, I'm going to try to keep you tuned in a little bit here so you can see what's going on. This will be kind of a long clip. But here's our here's our entry point, 63. Trading at 65 now, and again, pushed out a bunch of stops up there. And you're going to start to look and see, if you see stalling up here, you're going to potentially see some guys, traders, that are looking for a value play and to get short up here after the stops have been pushed out. But it's, again, scary place to make that kind of a move. That would be very aggressive. There's our 15. I mean, selling into a bar that looks like that on the 15-minute chart after it just passed a prior high and made a new high, that would be, excuse me, pretty aggressive. I want to use another word, but I'll stick with aggressive. Okay, so we're now pushing 65.50. I may be very conservative, and again, I had no basis for this 67 number. I could look at this trend line from this morning and try to, you know, it runs out a chart up there. I don't even know what that number may be hitting. Maybe it's up in the 70 range or something like that. So, you know, we're just kind of going to watch pace and velocity right here and see if it starts to back off in terms of potentially taking profits. We're going to try to let it run. At some point here, I'm going to start moving a trailing stop in, is what I'm going to start to do, because right now we have not yet done so. Here's our price ladder again. I'm really not yet comfortable. Hold on, I gotta look through the screen here and try to get my mouse positioned. I'm really not comfortable. Obviously, I mean, I've got no trouble going with moving up my stop loss to break even my stop, but I really don't want to go with a trailing stop just quite yet, because it's running so fast. I mean, it's not backing off. It's just, you know, new high after new high right now. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my profit target up again. I've got no firm basis for how high is, because I, you know, looking through the camera here and trying to show you all this stuff. I've not done any calculating of that, and but we keep, you know, we're not backing off. I mean, this bar keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. You know, it's one of those let your profits run kind of a deal, and you can see that where that trend line is, and, you know, could we potentially, you know, see 69, 68.50? Oh, and now we've got a new bar forming, so this will be critical here in terms of direction on this bar and whether we move our trailing stop. If we start to see, you know, a lot of red coming up here, we may go ahead and take some profit here. But if it starts ticking green and continues to move up, you see it's not breaking the body, the high of that body on that green bar. It's, you know, going to have trouble breaking beneath it, and if it does, then we've got to think about doing something. In fact, bear with me here. I'm going to go ahead and use a trailing stop, and in fact 65 1/4. Yeah, I'm going to use 65 1/4 as our trailing stop here, and try to give it a little bit more room to run. And you know, we may get stopped out here, but we wanted to certainly protect our profits in this trade, and see if we can get a little bit more movement out of this one. We'll show you the 15 here real quick. Yeah, it's not certain that it wants to stop going up. I kind of, you know, again, semi-reluctant to put in a trailing stop, but if you watched Friday's trading, you could see why we use trailing stops. I mean, it can turn, it can go the other way on you. You don't want to give up your profits, as much as I think we're still going to see higher here, and that there's not going to be, you know, any kind of big selling. There could be a little, you know, enough of a little retracement into this green bar that takes away some of our profits, and we certainly don't want to do that to this trade. So I'm going to try to keep you tuned in. Again, kind of a longish clip here. So let's see what happens though, and see if we can push just a little bit higher. And I think it's got another surge in it. I mean, the market is, again, just so strong that you know, we had that earlier trade where we sold and, you know, took a few ticks out and a little bit of profit. It's a very aggressive thing to do, and you have to really have a very sound technical basis for making a move like that in a market that's showing so much strength. So you know, and again, right in here, anybody selling, that would be pretty aggressive. I mean, the kind of selling that you would typically see up here right now is profit taking from folks like me who've got this winter going on. You know, I'd obviously need to be a seller to liquidate my position and take my profits. So, you know, you can see that kind of selling up here, and you can see it, you know, drop down a little bit and eat into this green bar somewhat. Still pretty confident we're seeing higher, and it's just a matter of, you know, if it does it real quick without stopping us out, or if it comes back into us and hits our trailing stop or not. And I really want to keep filming, but you can see my hands are starting to shake a little bit from holding this camera up so long. Let me I apologize to you. Let me take a break. for a second and rest my arm, and we'll be back, and I'll show you what happened here.